They tried to frame me for something I didn't do, thinking I had no way to fight back. But I turned the evidence against them and made sure everyone knew the truth. It all started on a Thursday morning that felt completely normal. I, Logan Hayes, was nursing my third cup of coffee at Horizon Tech Solutions, scrolling through emails and trying to wrap my head around a long to-do list. Everything seemed routine, until I noticed a message from HR titled, "Immediate Attention Required, Data Breach Investigation." At first, I thought it might be some standard cybersecurity drill, but then I saw the sender, Rachel Sterling, and that's when the pit in my stomach turned into a full-on ice bath. Rachel was one of those people who smiled too perfectly, whose compliments always felt rehearsed, and whose kindness carried a subtle edge of danger. She'd wanted my job, or at least she wanted me out of the way, since day one. The email claimed that sensitive company files had been leaked to a competitor, and shockingly, all the evidence pointed directly at me. My computer had supposedly accessed restricted directories at odd hours, files had been uploaded to a personal cloud account, and my login credentials were somehow compromised. I stared at the screen frozen. My hands hovered over the keyboard. None of it was true. I hadn't even been near those directories in weeks, but the attached logs and screenshots looked real. Too real. I could feel the walls of my office closing in. Panic threatened to take over, but I forced myself to think clearly. The first step was obvious. I needed allies. I sent a quick text to Dylan Reed, my best friend since college and a forensic whiz, and another to Sienna Cruz, a hacker I'd met at a tech conference who had a knack for tracking digital footprints. Within an hour, we were meeting at a quiet cafe a few blocks from Horizon Tech, laptops open and coffee in hand. Dylan's brow furrowed as he skimmed the screenshots. They made a lot of mistakes. Whoever did this didn't think someone would check the metadata. We can track timestamps, IP addresses, server logs, stuff they overlooked. Sienna smirked and tapped away at her laptop. Yeah, and you know me, I can trace anything digital. Let's see who really did this. We dug in. Hours passed in a blur of code, metadata, and analysis, and slowly, the truth began to reveal itself. Rachel had used a proxy server to mask her activity, uploaded files with fake timestamps, and somehow tied the activity to my credentials. The audacity was maddening, but the carelessness in the details gave us a lifeline. By midnight, we had enough evidence to start piecing together a timeline of her deception, but I knew I couldn't just walk into HR and say, "She did it." Rachel had influence, and she'd already planted seeds of doubt. If I wanted to survive this, I'd have to outsmart her. As I walked home that night, my mind raced. I kept replaying every interaction I'd had with Rachel over the past months, every subtle shove and sly smile. She was clever, but I was smarter, and I wasn't going to let her destroy me. That night, I made a silent vow. If Rachel wanted a battle, she was going to get one. But this wouldn't be a fight fueled by anger. This would be precision, patience, and proof. And most importantly, I was going to make sure everyone knew the truth. The next morning, I showed up at Horizon Tech with a calm exterior, but my mind was racing. Everyone looked at me differently now, some with suspicion, some with sympathy, and some, I knew, with quiet amusement. Rachel greeted me with that same polished smile as if nothing had happened, and I felt a pang of anger. She thought she'd won, but she hadn't. I spent the morning pretending to review my usual projects while secretly digging deeper into the evidence against me. Dylan and Sienna were working remotely, feeding me updates and pointing out inconsistencies in Rachel's setup. It was like a digital crime scene, and every piece of fake evidence she planted was leaving fingerprints. By noon, I had a breakthrough. A series of emails supposedly sent from my account had metadata that didn't match my usual activity. The timestamps were off by a few minutes, the server routes didn't line up, and the IP addresses traced back to a